we hear so often, oh, I gotta get back on my budget. Very much like we hear, I gotta get back on my diet.
Hi, I'm Heather Hetchler with enlightenHer, and welcome to our YouTube channel. Today I'm here with Melana Carberry, and today we're going to talk a little bit about money systems. So Melana, take it away.
Yeah, so money systems, when we think about this might mean a lot of different things to you. When I think about it, the way we're approaching it is kind of your day-to-day money management. What systems do you use? So one of the kind of bad words is budgeting, and I call it a bad word. It's sort of like the word diet. Right, it's a restrictive idea. It usually comes with negative feelings. We hear so often, oh, I gotta get back on my budget. Very much like we hear, I gotta get back on my diet. One thing, and I think that the diet is such a great analogy to budget, because diet, it is A, restrictive, and B, we all know that a diet isn't a long-term plan, right? It's designed to bring us back, probably lose weight or whatever your goal is. The diet is intended to help you get there, but it doesn't help you stay there. And so this idea of budget to me is very similar. I think there's a practical application where maybe for a short period of time you do need to rein things in. You need to get back control. Maybe you need to pay off debt, and maybe that budget does help you get there, but it's not long-term. It's not sustainable long-term. So what we wanted to take the time today to talk about is a more sustainable money system and approach that can be applied long-term. And I would go as far as to say perhaps blending, if you find that you're in a moment where you do need to have a bit more restriction to reach your goals, blending a little bit of that restriction in with this money system so that there's a better balance. And so I keep saying money system, well, what are we talking about? Yep, values-based spending. So we believe at enlightenHer, we believe it is a much better approach to finance, to spending, daily habits, than a budget. It's less restrictive, but I think more importantly, it gets us focusing on spending and perhaps savings, hopefully savings, in the areas that we value. What do you want most? What do you value most? Put your dollars in those places. So, values-based spending, it could also, like I said, be values-based saving. Maybe what you're most concerned about is saving up for something that you want to accomplish. That could be a short-term goal or a long-term goal. So putting your dollars towards the things that are most important to you and being unapologetic in cutting out all the other areas. So we spend so much of our hard-earned money on things that when we look back, we think, why the heck did I do that? What a waste of money. We want to avoid that money waste and redirect those dollars towards the things that we really value and appreciate.
No, I appreciate that. And before we go into more of the systems, I think one of the things I wanted to share was, I think strict budgets almost reinforce the notion when women believe like I'm bad at money or I'll never get my finances under control, because we start a budget, and a lot of times women start them at the beginning of the year, like this is the year I'm gonna understand my finances and I'm gonna get everything under control. And they start this really strict budget, and then they, misplace some receipts in their purse, or they forget to track, and then they tell themselves the lie, see, I'm not good at this, I'll never get this done, and they give up. It's not sustainable because they haven't really addressed the foundation that they're layering the new information on. They haven't really gotten rid of the old ways of thinking. And a values-based money system allows you to kind of know where you are, where do you want to get to, and allocate your spending and saving in a way that works for you, and then those strategies can take root.
So it forces you to take a step back and really tap into what your priorities are, what's most important to you. So an underwriting or overriding, I guess, theme of enlightenHer is let's get out of the external, all of the outside factors that we can't control. Let's come to the internal, tapping into our money mindset, our money beliefs, reprogramming where we need to, getting in touch with what's important to us, and letting that guide our next steps financially. Whether it's big picture stuff or it's our day-to-day, we have to understand what's most important to us first. So before you set a restrictive budget in place, step back and say, well, what is most important to me? Where do I actually want my money to go? And then use that as a framework for how do I want to spend on a daily basis, to save on a daily basis, so that I reach the goals that are most important to me. I also think one of the failures of budgeting is that it sets us up for failure, but that also we don't revisit. So we have to stay in touch with our money. Mm-hmm. If you are in and out, it's going to be very hard to remain successful. So especially early on, when you're just first, hopefully here, trying to learn about money, trying to get your arms around this thing that you've been told isn't for you, and maybe you've told yourself, I don't like it, I don't understand it. You've got to stay in it, right? You're not going to learn something, get comfortable with something by coming in and coming out. You're going to constantly be up against overwhelm. So you have to stay in it. You have to stay connected with your money and also with your values to help that reframe happen on a day-to-day basis. And if you give that time, there's no magic wand. Yeah. One of my famous sayings, there's no magic wand, but if you give that time, discipline, and persistence, and honor you first, stay in touch with you first, block the noise out in the world around you. Everyone wants to tell you what you should do, what you should think, what you should value. Get in touch with you, hone in on that, stay consistent with it, and we believe that that is going to set you up for success far better than a restrictive budget.
No, absolutely. And like one of my famous sayings is, if you fail to plan, then you plan to fail. And that's a Benjamin Franklin quote, and I said it in the house, my kids growing up all the time, but it's true. Wanting something to happen doesn't make it happen. And if you don't plan for your finances or your financial future, it's not going to happen. And having more of a values-based approach sets you up for success. And when you begin to look at your money and from a values lens, you're starting to take those baby steps and make small steps forward. And how good are you going to feel when, if you haven't really done anything and you start even taking baby steps in the right direction for saving and spending your money, how good is that going to feel? And then that becomes a snowball because your mindset is changing, your bank account is changing, and you start going in a positive direction.
Yeah, you're getting wins.
Yes.
So even if you say, gosh, the first thing I'm going to do and all I'm going to focus on is getting in touch with what is important to me. Where do I really want to direct my money? Where are my values? If that is the only thing you start with and you do that one thing, you have achieved a success, right? A success that you can then build on. Once we get wins, we feel better. So we don't feel great when we get a loss. It's easy to just throw in the towel. But if we can pick one baby step and get a win with that step, then we can layer on. So I very much think about goals that we can achieve sustainably, that we can be consistent with, versus the huge goal that is going to be so hard, so difficult to accomplish. And so I would rather see a client take one small step that they maintain, that's going to get them ahead, versus setting a big massive goal and 3 weeks later just throwing the towel in on it. They have made no progress at that point.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, we've seen too where clients are like, well, I'll never be able to afford I'll never be able to afford to buy a house, especially I'm talking when I work with younger women. I'll never be able to afford a house. I'll never be able to afford a dream vacation to Italy. I'm like, well, if you don't put any money towards it, you are correct. You are correct. But if you start building, okay, let's just start putting $50 a month away towards your house, or even just making small strides forward. But it starts with identifying your values and what do you want and where do you want to direct your money. And that starts with self-awareness and being honest with yourself about what do you want, and when you can put that out there, you can start to plan for it.
Yeah, I totally agree. And again, I'll circle back once more to it has to be what you want.
Yes.
The world tells us we should own a home. The world tells us, we should go on fancy vacations. Maybe not the world, but maybe you're seeing that, right? You're looking around and saying, well, all these other people have these things. Apparently that's what life is about. Apparently that's what I should be targeting. And I'll wrap up with one final thought on that. I have seen this in my 20-year career in finance. I have felt it myself, and I have seen it and heard it from our clients as well. So when you are in control of your money, when you are making values-based decisions about what you're doing with your money, and hopefully some of that does include saving and saving for the long term, what you end up with is less money to spend today, right? That is the result of being financially responsible. And what that can appear on the outside is that you have fewer resources, you're able to do fewer things. Those things should be, the things you do should be in alignment with your values, but perhaps you're doing fewer. And perhaps your next door neighbor or your best friend or your sibling is doing all the things. So externally, it can look like they have more. They're living life more fully, they're doing more, they're enjoying more, and you're somehow falling behind or not doing something right because you're not doing all of that. And what we get the benefit of seeing is pull the curtain back. What you're seeing is external, and we like to differentiate between rich. I think rich is a look.
Yeah.
Rich is external. It's a look. You're doing all these different things externally, whether it's home, car, vacation, whatever. Wealth is more internal. You got to pull the curtain back to see what's really backing up a financial life. So when we pull the curtain back, the person who is perhaps on the outside looks like they're living more conservatively, than doing fewer things. Behind the curtain, that's where we often see wealth. And this isn't all about just having a lot of money. It's about having money in the right places that are helping you achieve your goals, circling all the way back to values-based spending. So you cannot value everything. We do have to pick and choose, but I think really acknowledging that it can be challenging when you are starting to take hold of this stuff and implement these things in your life. You can look around you and say, well, what am I doing wrong? You almost start to assume that everyone else is living their lives this way as well, and I can tell you they're not. So try to get out of that comparison trap. I think as you, again, start to embrace these things, that comparison can really come in, and we've got to remove ourselves from that, remind ourselves that we're living life according to our values, and we're doing the things that we need to do to take care of ourselves.
Absolutely, and we're thinking more long term. And there's something too to be said about valuing, a good night's sleep in terms of like knowing that your money is working for you, that you're saving where you need to be saving, and that you are having a values-based money system versus having all this stuff on the outside versus what's on the inside.
Yeah, I tell this to our youngest clients that, hey, when you get in your 40s, when you get in your 50s, you're going to be on the flip side of this coin. The people who didn't, didn't move forward with values-based spending, who didn't implement that in their lives, who just spent kind of indiscriminately everywhere, but didn't plan long-term, they're going to still be, they're going to be behind, right? They're going to be there, and that's, again, we're pulling back that curtain. You may not even see that as you get older, but I can guarantee you will start to hear it. You will start to hear your friends talk about needing to get caught up on retirement. How the heck are they going to pay for their kids' education? Gosh, we're scrambling. We still haven't bought our first home yet. And you might be looking at yourself at that point. I'm experiencing this personally and saying, wow, all that discipline, the sacrifice that I made when I was young, when it was really hard, when I was seeing other people do all these things, I'm reaping the rewards of that today. I actually can be more flexible with my spending. I can treat myself a bit more today because of some of the hard work that I put in early on.
Yeah, and research shows too that when women acquire wealth or they're able to secure wealth, they reinvest it in their families and their communities. And if this conversation is resonating with you, but also is almost like we're speaking a new language, you're not alone. We know that we're starting to have conversations that we're not normally having out there. And so if you want to go deeper, we really encourage you to go to the enlightenHer.com website to look at all the different resources. We have an amazing starting out and starting over guide for women on their finances. But if you want to even go deeper, we encourage you to click the link, set up a free money mindset coaching call to just explore these topics, to think differently about how you view money, how you view budgeting, how you view value-based spending, and to really help empower and educate you in finances. So if you've enjoyed this episode, we really want to encourage you to like it, to share it, to subscribe to our channel, to share it with other women in your life, because together we grow stronger and more empowered around our finances.
Thank you so much, Heather.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us today.
Thanks.